Welcome to Knowledge Verse. This is the top 5 most deadly roller coaster accidents. Please like and comment for part 2. And don't forget to subscribe. Ride malfunctions, freak accidents, passengers ignoring the rules. Amusement park tragedies don't happen often, but when they do, the results can be terrifying. While most of us expect a day at the theme park to be a fun, entertaining outing with friends and family, we also know that there are risks involved with roller coasters and other rides, albeit minor ones. There are roughly 30,000 amusement park-related injuries each year. However, fatal accidents are much rarer, with just a handful occurring over the last decade. These are the top 5 most deadly roller coaster accidents through the years. The accident occurred on the afternoon of Tuesday, May 30, 1972, on the Big Dipper roller coaster at the Fun Fair in Battersea Park, London, which had opened in 1951 as part of the Festival of Britain. A train being hoisted up to the start of the ride broke loose from its haulage rope. The emergency rollback brake failed, causing the carriages to roll backwards towards the station. Despite the efforts of the brakemen, the train gathered speed and the back carriage jumped the rails and crashed through a barrier, with the other 2 carriages crashing on top of it. 5 children were killed and 13 others injured. After the accident, the roller coaster was closed and dismantled. With the funfair's lack of a main attraction, its use soon declined, leading to its closure in 1974. Very little remains now to even suggest that a funfair once stood on the site. A passenger on the ride during the accident said, and quote, "As soon as we started shooting backwards, everything went into slow motion. I turned around and saw the brakeman desperately trying to put the brake on, but it wasn't working. Most of the carriages didn't go around the bend, one detached and went off the side through a wooden hoarding. People were groaning and hanging over the edge. It was awful," end quote. In the aftermath, 3 men were charged with manslaughter and a committal hearing was started at Wandsworth Magistrates Court on February 26, 1973. The court heard that, after a fire had damaged the ride in 1970, a second-hand part, more than 50 years old, had been bought to replace it. The dog brake on this train had not operated when the rope broke, allowing it to run backwards. Additionally, the structure, including the pedestrian emergency walkway, was in a rotted and unsafe condition so that one victim who survived the initial impact fell through the handrail to her death. The manager of the ride and its inspecting engineer were committed for trial. On November 20, 1973, both men were acquitted. Krug Park opened in 1895 and quickly became one of the city's premier attractions. It featured a dance pavilion, a bathhouse, a hot air balloon ride, swimming pools, and a roller coaster. The coaster was called the Big Dipper, and it was quite the ride. The Big Dipper was one of the park's more popular attractions. But on July 24, 1930, the unthinkable happened. The ride's 4 connected cars were climbing the 35-foot incline when a loose bolt caused the brake shoe of the lead car to get caught in the car's rear wheels. This caused a chain reaction of events which led to all 4 cars plunging off the side of the roller coaster frame. 3 of the cars overturned, trapping riders beneath. The 35-foot drop was catastrophic, killing 4 riders and injuring 17. To that date, it was the deadliest roller coaster crash in U.S. history. The ride's malfunction was blamed on poor upkeep, and the city of Omaha quickly decreed that no roller coasters would be allowed to operate in Omaha. The crash was big news, and the state mourned the loss of the victims. After the roller coaster was shut down, the park was sold and continued to operate in a different capacity. Krug Park never could quite overcome the shadow of the tragedy, though, and it closed for good in 1940. It was re-landscaped into a regular public park, and today families enjoy Gallagher Park, and most of them have no idea what took place here almost. On the evening of June 14, 1986, the 4th car of a train traveling midway along the course derailed before encountering the 3rd and final loop. Its wheel assembly had become detached from both the track and car itself, causing the car to sway back and forth across the tracks. The car became damaged, and the lap bar restraints unlocked and released, throwing all 4 of its passengers to the concrete floor below. The train continued to move along the track and into the final loop, but friction from the car's derailment slowed the train and prevented it from clearing the loop. As it rolled backward down the loop, the detached car crashed into a concrete pillar about midway down, stopping the train abruptly. 3 of the 4 passengers thrown from the ride died, while the 4th was left critically injured with permanent, life-altering effects. The survivor Chaco says his once broken body is a source of daily pain that he treats with medical marijuana. He kicked prescription painkillers more than a decade ago. Chaco had been living in Fort McMurray when he and his friend David Sager, 24, of Calgary traveled to the mall for a night of fun. Chaco describes his friend as a thrill-seeker who liked fast cars and had just won an amateur striptease contest at a bar a night earlier. The remaining passengers were safely evacuated and treated at a nearby hospital with minor injuries. An investigation later determined that 4 cap screws holding the wheel assembly together failed, which were likely the result of design flaws and unsatisfactory maintenance routines. When Mindbender reopened in January 1987, the trains were redesigned. The existing 4-car trains were converted to 3-car trains, reducing seating capacity from 16 to 12, and anti-rollback features were installed. Each train previously consisted of 2 wheel assemblies per car, however, after this accident, 2 further wheel assemblies were added to each car. The lap bar restraint was retained, but seat belts and shoulder headrests were added. 2 people were killed and 2 others were injured at a New Jersey amusement park when 2 cars of a roller coaster smashed into one another, the police said. The victims were all riding the Wild Wonder, a 2-story roller coaster at Jillian's Wonderland Pier in Ocean City, a seaside resort in Cape May County, the police said. According to authorities, the incident occurred when one car crashed into the rear of another, hurling several passengers out of the car. One witness, Robert Lee, 11, told the Associated Press he heard a crash and looked up to see one car plowing into the other. The roller coaster lost traction near its peak and plunged 30 feet backward into a sharp curve. Heidi King, a nursing supervisor at Shore Memorial Hospital, said that an adult and a child were pronounced dead, and that 2 other passengers, a child and an adult, were treated and released. She would not release the identities of the victims, pending notification of the family members. A spokesman for the State Department of Consumer Affairs said inspectors would be at Wonderland Pier on Sunday to determine the cause of the accident. He said he did not know whether the ride had been previously cited for safety violations. A woman and her 8-year-old daughter were killed and 2 others were seriously injured. On May 5, 2007, Fujin Raijin 2, the park's Togo stand-up coaster, derailed, killing Yoshino Kagawara, a 19-year-old university student from Higashiomi, Shiga, and injuring an additional 19 guests. Initial reports said that 40 people were injured, with 31 being taken to hospital. An investigation revealed that the ride derailed due to a broken axle, of which none had been replaced for 15 years. Following this accident, similar coasters at other Japanese parks were voluntarily shut down and inspected to see if they could also have the same axle flaw. Expoland was cited by authorities for faulty maintenance when similar axle cracks were found on a second train a month later. The park reopened after the accident but closed again on December 9, 2007, citing a lack of attendance. On February 9, 2009, its owners decided to close the park down permanently. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.